welcome to another episode of the Choose Your S.O.U.L show. We are your hosts. My name's Hakeem,
My name is Alyssa.
and we are
And
passionate.
Teresa.
And Teresa's here. Don't forget about it. We're getting to her. That's the star of the show. We are passionate about providing conversations and creations to help you choose yourself and strengthen your soul. And today's guest, you just heard from her, comes from a spiritual boot camp that is New York City stand-up comedy. You know, the same streets that birthed Seinfeld, Richard Pryor, Chappelle during his New York years. We got her here, where comedy clubs feel more like gladiator arenas. And the only thing sharper than the jokes is the judgment. And laughter is not just entertainment, it's medicine. Neuroscience shows it. A single good laugh, like from the soul, it lowers stress hormones, boosts immunity, and literally rewires your brain out of victimhood and fear mode. Our special guest is proof that you can take that pain, spin it into rhythm, and make a room full of strangers erupt like a Sunday sermon. So buckle up, because this conversation is going to be part history lesson, part therapy session, and part late night bar show in the East Village. Welcome to the show, the witty and unfiltered Teresa. How you feeling?
That was quite the introduction, Hakeem. Thank you so much for having me. I was like, ooh, comedy. You make it sound so exciting.
We're so excited to chat with you about it.
Yes, and thank you, Alyssa. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was exciting. I saw you live and I was like, ooh, she was funny, unfiltered, kept it real, you know, and women in comedy obviously are a lot more rare, which is like women in any dang profession, sadly. But what do you see? How did you get into comedy? Like a lot of times they say check on your funny friends because they come from a place of pain. Is that the same to you?
That's really funny. I have a theater background. So I moved to New York because I always wanted to live here. And I found it very challenging because I'm not the best of singers. I like to dance, but no professional training on that front. And so my brother was like, "You're really funny. You should try stand-up comedy and write down some of the stuff that that you just say every day." So I took a comedy class. That's how I got started at the comic strip. So it's like a 6-week class or an 8-week class, and they help you develop a 5-minute set. So then we're off to the races. So that's how I started.
Where were you before? Where did you come? Where did you move to New York from?
Well, I'm from Pennsylvania originally. So born and raised, small town. And then I moved to Los Angeles for a couple of years, back to PA. And then I've been in New York for 18 years. So wild.
Why don't you tell us the story behind the first time you got on stage to perform after you went to school?
Oh, so nervous. I mean, it was, and it's what's funny to this day, some of my best friends in New York were in the class with me. And so we met, we stayed friends. The host of the show is one of my really good friends, Regina DeChico. She's a warm-up comic for The View. And so people have gone on and had really great careers and success, but I was so nervous. Oh my gosh. But then you get that first laugh. And I think it's one of those things you either know, like, I want to continue doing this or I never want to do this again.
Those emotions, like we can turn that into anxiety, fear, hesitation, or into power, adrenaline to push forward. And that comes from any transition of something new, unfamiliarity. It reminds me of, when you're playing a big sports game. Once the ball is snapped, you're like, I'm good. But up until there, it's like you got the jitters all morning, you're trying to eat, you're stretching with your team. You're like, damn, I got all these plays, I got all these jokes I'm trying to write. And then it snaps and all your preparation shows. And you're just out there on stage, right? And do you prepare your jokes? Do you rehearse in the mirror? What's some things? Have you always been a public speaker?
Really, always a public speaker, but I was voted most talkative in my senior class. Gift for gab. I actually just went to Ireland. I got back last week, and you're supposed to kiss the Blarney Stone to get like the gift of gab. I was like, I don't need it. I just kissed more Irish boys is what I did. Irishmen. Had a good time there. They loved me. Very popular over there. I practice at home, and what I do is I use my remote control as like the microphone, and then I pace around and I go over my set, kind of the rhythm of it, and that's how I prepare for like a big show.
Yeah, no, well, y'all know my last name is McFarlane, don't you? No, that's probably the same dudes that wouldn't even want to practice with the remote who think it's weird to bite a banana. You seen that trend? Man, just get the reps in for real.
Yeah.
But that practice and preparation, man, that is key to life. How do you take that dedication to practicing your craft before you perform into practicing, embracing your story into who you are to the people that you care about?
I think it's important just to be yourself. And so that comes across if you're being genuine and you're saying your story, because everybody has their own story and people are going to relate to you. I think I'm pretty relatable. And so a lot of my jokes are about where I am in my life right now. So it's funny when I hear the women that are like in my age group, they start laughing and I'm like, well, that's who that joke is for. That's how I try to stay relatable and authentic. I was like, just be yourself. So I can't write jokes about having kids because I don't have any kids, but I can write about my friends having kids and going to a baby shower as somebody who doesn't have kids. So different standpoint, different viewpoint.
I don't have kids either, but no matter if it's raising a kid, raising your purpose, raising your inner child, raising something that you're passionate about, you still have to be able to, understand who you are. Otherwise, you're raising them from someone else's paradigm, someone else's conditioning. So, like, with that authenticity, the most successful comedians are authentic. That's typically who they are. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. And the best leaders of any kind, whether you're leading a joke or you're leading a business, a tribe, a family, are the ones who understand who they are, because then your response outside of your comfort zone is more in alignment with what you do when you're comfortable. So there's not as much distance between, the character that you rely on under pressure and the character that you practice for. But connecting those two, one, you have to prepare before the event, and nobody knows what's going to happen in the event, whether it be a show, a game, a loss, something shuts down, something crazy in the economy. The preparation is really, all we have, leading up to anything. So that's dope. Do you think most funny people are running from the pain or running with it?
They're running with it. I really liked that because I think they run with it because you have to find the humor in everything. If something bad happens, right away, you might not find the humor in it, but then you're like, oh, there's something funny here. Like I can work with this. And it's real. Pain is real. Everyone goes through pain. Everyone goes through heartbreak. Everyone goes through different points in their life that they're really happy, really sad, ups and downs. And so if you can make a joke about it that's relatable and other people are like, oh, I've been there. I've done that. Like I do that. And you can laugh at it, and that's very important.
When's the last time you did that? Something that might have been traumatic to someone that you laughed about?
Well, I got broken up with in a text. And I mean, I'm in my 40s. He just turned 50. I was like, come on, you're a grown ass man. Like, say it to my face.
So childish.
It was a long text too. And so I wrote a joke about it. Finally, it took me a while. Like, it took me a little bit to find the funny in it. But I was like, he's an actor. So I was like, did you just break up with me in a monologue? Is that what you were doing? Is this an audition piece? That's like me as a comic breaking up with you in a knock knock joke. Like, knock knock, who's there? Not you. Like, I'm out. So, but it's very simple, but it's so like people can relate to that because I'm like, I don't think anyone wants to be broken up with via text. And then people kind of feel bad, but everyone's probably been broken up with at some point in their life, gone through a breakup, so they can relate to that. So that was my big like, okay, that's funny. And it gets laughs. And then I'm like, haha, got a joke.
Got other people to laugh. I love that. It's so important to just take everything with a grain of salt because everything is so fleeting. Time is not linear and it's not constant, obviously. So it's like you can get over everything. And speaking of breakups, I think about the breakups that I've been through in my life. And during the moment, in the moment, especially as a teenager or like a young girl, it's so much drama. But thinking back now, I'm like, I don't care whatsoever. Like I could see these people. So you're going to get over it eventually. Like why put so much emphasis on it now? And that's what you learn from it. Like, okay, this isn't going to last forever. Might as well laugh at it. Like just laughing to our deathbeds is the best way to go.
Yep, and find the humor in it. People are funny because people are like, oh, this is going to be a great bit. I'm like, hold on, let me get over it first, and then I'll figure out the...
Right, because people will be able to sense that. Like, oh, she's actually speaking from pain. This is not a joke. She's actually in therapy right now. First time talking about it. She hasn't processed it. She's crying. She's calling them all kind of names. But listen, hey, if you want to break up with me, text me. I don't need to you can send me one emoji. Okay, because that's how fast I'm going to get over it and get after it. Why you want to come? You want me to waste my time, energy to sit down with you with all my feelings in your face. And you want to try to explain to me why we done. If you in that conversation, if you thinking about it, it's over. It's already done. We're not about to, listen, the difference is having issues, problems, disagreements is one thing. But thinking about breaking up, we've lost it. We've lost it. It could be, oh, you pissed me off. Oh, I can't stand when you do that. Oh, we got to talk about this. But when you're like, it's over, I'm going to break up with you. Well, that's in your mind. You're thinking it. And now everything else is going to align with it. So if you're not ready to do the work and you're done with it completely, now, if you want to text me, let's have a talk. I'm going to be like, all right, let's meet in person. Because we got to talk. But we're not going to call on the phone. We're not going to text a bunch of shit. But But if we are going to be done, let me know, man. Shit, so I can get over you fast.
We got into a relationship podcast. All of a sudden, how to do it properly, how to
via text, and don't use ChatGPT, y'all. Say it from the heart.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think there's going to be comedians
he
that start
did that?
using ChatGPT?
They already do.
No, I don't like that.
I've received them.
There's a time and a place, I think.
You can tell.
Yes, for ChatGPT. So
That's
I just
probably
kind
why
of got into that a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably why that text was so long, because that's where it was from. Like, he's never texting me this many words. Oh, it's not hit. Oh.
I'm looking for the
Chat.
long form dashes.
Oh no, this was his, because I was like, oh no, ChatGPT knew where to put a period and a butt. That was, but I think a lot of comics, to go back to your question, I think a lot of them actually are happier people than people perceive. Like, there's obviously like people running from pain and things that they find funny, like that when they're on stage, you're like, oh, that's dark. But comics are a lot of fun. Like, I go into a show and you're like, hey, everyone gives each other a hug for the most part. Like, they're very nice people, I would say. Now, would I want some of my friends to date them? Not necessarily, but
why not?
I know, like, I know how, like, what is it? I know where it's made. You know what I mean? Like, I know too much. And you're like, no, I know too much. Great guy, but no, don't date him. Don't date him. Yeah.
Are you mean the ones you know? Not all comics, just the ones you know.
I mean, I've dated comics because it's natural that's going to happen.
How is that? Y'all just be laughing all day? That's the thing. So let's talk about that. Like, how people think because you're a comedian, when they see you, they expect to laugh. How you deal with that? Have you experienced that? I mean, I have, on and offline. They're like, why aren't you talking motivation? I'm like, I don't know you. You probably don't care. People don't.
Well, at least with comics, like, you don't have to have the whole conversation. Like, if you're dating someone that's not a comic, it turns into like, ooh, who's your favorite comedians? Do you listen to Joe Rogan? You're like, okay. And then you have these, it turns into a whole like podcast about it. And then you're like, okay, let's just like time out for a second and just talk about like other things. But if you're dating a comic, you don't always, there's a lot of bitching about comedy that goes on in the relationship. So it's more like you can like complain to that person back and forth, but they understand like how the show went. And it depends on what level of comic they're at. So I've dated people that are like above me in comedy. And so that works out better for the dynamic, because then the people below me, there's a couple that I've dated. And if I like override them and I'm like, well, no, that joke wasn't funny. Don't blame the audience. It wasn't a funny joke.
What do you mean? Like, there's a tier system? Like, what do you mean by that? If someone's above you or below you?
Like, they're passed at more clubs, or they've been doing it longer, or they're a more professional comic than just somebody that I dated like in the open mic scene, where they're just like still doing open mics after years. And hey, more power to them, to each their own, whatever they want to do. But after a while, you're like, you shouldn't be giving out advice when you're not getting booked at places. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And you shouldn't blame the audience. I don't believe in that. Like, if you ever go to a comedy show and then the comic is like, oh, you didn't think that was funny? Okay, what's wrong with you guys? Like, I don't really like that. I'm just like, hey, if they don't laugh, address it, but keep it going. Keep it moving.
You problem. So you're doing like personal development on the stage too. Like, need to work on myself if no one's laughing at my jokes as a comedian.
Nah, well, you can't ever blame anybody. It just might not be for you. You know, if you can't shoot the damn ball in the hoop, stop trying to play basketball. It's easy.
Or practice by yourself.
And if you don't, or practice more, exactly, or keep failing, one of the two. But he's talking about the dynamic in the industry. This is the same thing in like healing, spiritual, personal development, personal growth, personal discovery journey. If you're farther than somebody, it's tough. If you're too far apart, at least have the similar systems. You don't have to be in that level of awareness, a level of, clarity, or whether of cognitive, but you're on the journey. There's really no who's right, who's farther, who's different, because that is not an aim towards being funny. It's not an aim towards a same goal. It's not the same industry. Like, if you're talking about business or who's the best realtor, who's the best comedian, there's measurable and tangibles. But when you have just two people on a personal growth journey, they're getting as much development and happiness as they can at their rate, and they're bringing it back to the relationship. And the other person might do it a lot more at a lot higher clip, and they might have a higher energy, but they're increasing their capacity, bringing it back. And it's like the relationship is breathing. Now, if one person, has a low self-efficacy, a low self-belief, they might be like, oh, they're leaving me. Oh my God. Why are you telling me not to do that? I don't want to look up for guidance, or I don't want to be below, especially as a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a big part of it, being a man and, having to be submissive in your industry of passion to the girl you love. I'd be like, girl, if there was a girl better speaker than me, we might be on a team, but I don't know if we could be speaking together our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much speaking. One person got to speak, one person got to goddamn choose yourself.
It is true. The dynamic is true back and forth. I also think like for like the spiritual is that people like it's like in sales. You buy from someone you like, the best realtor, whoever, like they might not be the best, but you like them. So you're like, oh, I'm going to use them because I like them. And that's the same thing I think with comics is that, you like feel like, oh, I like them or I feel like I know them. And Jessica Kirsten is somebody who she is a special out. She's hilarious. I took a class with her as well. And she said, you want the audience to want to like have a drink with you after the show. That's kind of what you want, where they're like, hi, like not have this like, break like the fourth wall, as they say. So, and that's important for me to be likable, I think, very much. So, make it funny, but also like make it approachable.
Yeah, I think that's important in whatever you're doing. And it goes back to the authenticity too, because if people can relate to you and they like you and they know you're being real, they're going to be attracted to you over other people, even if there's someone who has more time or more experience. I get that all the time with me and my platform on social media. People will invest in me because of who I am, not because of I don't have all these years of experience or I don't have all these, I'm not making the most money or whatever, but it's like just because of who I am, people are like, I want to work with you because of how you're showing up and you actually can feel who I am through the screen. So it's a big deal to just make sure you're fully being yourself and you'll attract the right people.
Yeah.
And I get booked a lot to host. You came to the show and I was hosting, but you got to keep the energy going. And, you're like the cheerleader for the other comics and you want the audience to feel comfortable. Like, I don't want anyone to leave the show and feel bad about themselves. Like I may do a little fun, playful jab or whatever, but I don't want anyone to, leave and be like, I got made fun of and I feel awful. I just paid how much money to come to a comedy show and get a babysitter. And, this is my big night out. And I left feeling like, oh, that wasn't fun. When people ask me, do you make fun of the audience? I'm like, well, a little bit, but like more playful, I'd like to say.
Shit, don't come to my show. You're going to leave feeling triggered, angry, ready to go to sleep and wake up on time. That's exactly what the point is, for you to be like, damn it, I want to go home, turn the screens off, turn all screens off. And right now, put my phone in the other room and do not hit the snooze in the morning. I can't even sleep, so I don't want to hit the snooze. That's what I hope. But not in comedy, right? I used to work at a comedy club. When I first started bartending all the way through college, I would go school, practice, comedy club. And I was a bartender, I was a manager, I did stand-up like every other Tuesday for like a year and a half. I threw a couple comedy events and Christmas parties. And the comedy scene is freaking dope. Like it is. And we had one of the best comedy clubs that wasn't like a convention center. It was like seats 550 people in the Mall of America. So we met, I met Jay Farrell, Joey Diaz. They all came in, met Rob Schneider. He was kind of the one that puts the wall between.
Okay.
I feel like it was like there's certain comics who are like, I don't want to even meet the people after the show. Just let me know when the next show starts. Like that's one way. And I don't know, for me, I feel like when I start traveling, meeting the people is the reason of going. It's the reason to go, to connect in person, exchange your energy with the people who have either been supporting, following, purchased a ticket, or there for the first time. Like elevating the experience of others is how you make an impact forever, And so who are you when you meet people is, it comes from what you try to do with the work you do. What type of impact are you trying to leave? Is there a certain point of your story that really, once you healed from it, it shifted like how you told your story or how you told jokes? Or was there an experience that you went through paradigm shift in your career?
I think it comes with time. I think it's just experience, honestly, just getting on stage and just keep doing it. And, another set after another set that you go up and you're like, if it doesn't go well, you're like, okay, that was a rough one. And then you kind of get over it and then get back out there for the next one. And when you're in it, you know what to do, just like, a sporting event, or that's when you talk about the preparation, that you know how to roll with the punches, that someone might yell something out or break a glass, or you have a drunk person that's just, you try to engage with them and they're not making sense. Like, but you got to keep it like upbeat and keep it like, okay, like, hey, it's a live show. We're live. Like, I'm a real person. Like, I say that when people are talking, I'm like, I'm real. Like, you can't pause me. I'm right here. Like, So, because some people aren't used to a live thing,
Oh my
like
gosh.
especially
Right.
after the pandemic. It's like
Unfortunately.
everyone, I think after the pandemic too, it was like, we're all on the same page here. So does it really matter? You know, we're all like trying to do the
Nothing
same thing.
matters. Nothing's
It flattened
real.
everybody. Everybody was
Right.
like, they had work. Nobody had work. People are doing shows over Zoom. People are
Right.
doing shows in parks. It just, and that kind of is just one of those things that you're like, okay, you know, you have to kind of let the universe take control. You have to work hard, but also like whatever happens, happens kind of thing.
Always
And that
put your
level,
trust.
that level of understanding to where no matter who's performing, no matter what badge they're wearing, no matter how important they are, you still get caught for your demons and you still have to be accountable for your choices. So like when it becomes like, oh, even the celebrities I looked up to are struggling during COVID. Even the best businesses are struggling during COVID. Now it's like you don't, a lot of the people who are at the average level of society don't put people up on a pedestal anymore. And that's since then. But as time goes, the more you're able to perform in front of people one-on-one, in front of people, 5 people, in front of, more you can be authentic in front of these situations, the more you can embrace your story and the more you can impact others. That's how we start to build that tiered system again of valuable people and the people who got something to learn. Because there's always going to have to be someone telling people what happened and what's coming. Everybody, there's always a leader, there's always a spiritual leader, there's always somebody who led back at 50 AD, even BC. God dang, after when the first thing God started, somebody got to tell somebody. All right. So your cognitive baseline comes from the work you do for yourself by yourself, which allows you to select which perspective you want to choose to follow or commit to or contribute to. Now you can follow one, but if you follow it blindly, you think that praying and going to church and freaking wearing a cross makes you religious. That is going to keep you locked into what you were raised by. But when you are looking to contribute to your spirit and spirituality, then you're able to move more authentically. But like in comedy, same thing. Whether it's comedy, religion, are you chasing it or are you living through it? I think is a big differentiator between, high value people as well.
That is true. And also, you know, if you're a stand up comic in New York City, well, anywhere really, you have a few jobs. Like most people just don't do stand up. So you're working, you're bartending, you're doing something else. Like you have to hustle. Like you have to work hard in order to be able to, you know, become a successful at it. So that takes a self discipline. You know, I think everyone worked out this morning. We all went to the gym here
Yeah.
on the podcast. Yes, I did. I did my hot class. I did my hot hit, but it's
Hey, those are
also
great.
for your own like mental, you know, hey, this
Makes
is going to
such a
suck
difference.
maybe, but I'm going to feel so much better when I'm done. I'm going to feel good about it. And there's no one, you know, standing over your bed in the morning like, hey, you have to get up and do this. You have to motivate yourself. So that was a big part too of stand up at the beginning for me, where you go out and do like 3-4 open mics a night and you would just motivate yourself. Like, okay, what do I want to work on now? What do I want to do? So any kind of hustle that you're trying to do is, you know, you got to self-motivate.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have a long-term vision too. Where do you see yourself in like 5-10 years with the comedic?
Such a tough question. My mom was like, we had this conversation, like my uncle asked it. And my mom was like, I don't know, not to die. And I was like, great answer, mom. Great.
Damn, she watched the news.
I was like, oh goodness. But I also want to be working. I'd love to have a warm-up comic job for something. I was maybe dabbling and getting into cruise ships and doing that, performing on cruises. My friend and I, we have a podcast, Two Stand-Up Gals, Erica Spera and I. She's a comic as well. I really like our podcast. I would like some more things to come of that. I would like to be able to make most of my money, like, you know, doing stand-up in some aspect of it, whether it's the podcast or like a warm-up comic type job in New York, because I think that would be awesome. Those jobs are just consistent, they're steady. Not that I wouldn't want to headline or be out on the road or do something like that. Of course, like this is all in the bubble, all in the big, you know, circle of what I want to do. And when you're bartending, because I do day bartend, Blind Tiger, if anyone's listening, downtown in the West Village, I'm there till 8 Monday throughout the week. And you're performing for these people. They're coming back in
Hell yeah.
every day. You're holding court. You're bam, 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 bam. So, yeah, it also helps me with my performance skills as well.
Yeah, I love that. I'd see it's like your heart is in the industry. Your heart is with the comedic scene. So it makes it easier too to then motivate yourself to show up when you know where you're going and you know why you love doing it. It's makes it a lot easier to get up on the days you're like feeling like shit or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And some days you don't feel funny. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before a show, you're like, I don't feel like doing this. Sometimes, like, especially after working all day and you've just talked to people for 9 hours and then you got to go host a show and you're like, how's everyone doing? I don't really care, but let's get the show started. Like, you have to you have to like get in your own head. Like for me, I'm like, all right, let's put the lipstick on. Let's get the makeup on again. Like, let's mentally switch gears and just get out there and get after it.
Reapplying.
Yeah, I would hit a quick workout. I've done a couple speaking engagements over the last couple months, and every time I'm doing some type of jump up and down, getting my nerves activated, and I think that's definitely going to be something in the long term that I do is a full workout. To be honest, like a 15-minute workout before I step on that stage of 80,000 people. You was talking about bartending, and I've been bartending 15 years, and started at the Comedy Club as a host. But every time I let people in with the tickets, I was cracking jokes. The line of 400 people and the bartenders and managers and the owners every time are like, why is he not behind the bar? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Comment, compliment, joke. Hey, how you doing? Comment, compliment, joke. Every single family, they're like, he got to get his ass behind the bar. But when you are bartending or doing anything as you're chasing your dream, you can always infiltrate your purpose and practice on skills at your job, especially if you're a performer. How are you presenting your personal brand? What is your response to basic questions? When somebody says, how are you? Can you think of something clever and quick? When somebody says, hey, do you have water? Well, it's a freaking bar. Does a dang horse hiccup? Okay. What the hell? Yes, we got water.
Does a horse hiccup? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure everything
know.
hiccup to it. I used to say, damn, your breath smell like horse hiccups and bounce that ass. So that's why that popped in my head. But find a way to use whatever job. If you're freaking shipping packages, you're in the mail office, you're a freaking RN, you got dang freaking at retail, you're in the food industry, you're a chef. Find a way to use that as an opportunity to develop traits. Because, when you're, like you said, performing at the bar, you with that mindset, you're always practicing because you're in performance mode. But if you're like, I'm bartending, I can't wait to get on the stage. You're on the stage. You can practice for the night.
Yeah, exactly.
You practice your jokes
at work.
Yeah.
Yes and no, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that was kind of funny. I got to write that down. Like, depending on with the customers, and we go back and forth. And sometimes they will be like, is this a joke you're working on? And I'm like, yes.
They know you're a comedian?
All the regular customers do.
Yeah.
And what I do actually, I started this years ago called Tales from the Tables, and I write jokes about bartending and serving. And so then now as the shift has gone from just like, Facebook, writing jokes, Twitter, to everything's on camera, now I'll film myself at a table before work, just to camera, just like a quick like, blah, 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 this happened at work, blah, blah. Because the one table has great lighting. So I got to get it and get the good lighting in. And then I post it. So my Tales from the Tables. So that's something too that I'm like, oh, what's funny? And it's like, oh, like I know I've worked at a job too long bartending when we got a new dustpan. And I was like, hell yeah, we got a new dustpan. Like that's sad, but that's really like.
Damn, that's a dusty place. Yeah, no, me and my boy Joe Nathan, man, he's always working his jokes. He's a server. And we always like, we'll do that with the industry, like crack jokes. Like when people are like, I hate serving people who be like, how much is this? If you ain't got the money, stay your ass home. Why are you asking how much everything is? You on the budget? What you doing?
Yep.
Or they be like, hey, I want to make it strong. I'm like, do you want a double? No, just make it strong. I'm like, do you go to Target, ask for extra socks? What you doing? You're not about to get it strong unless you ask for it, unless you pay for the double. Shit.
People walk in, the music's on, the lights are on, the door's open. And they're like, are you guys open? I'm like, yeah, you open the door. It's open. Yeah. Like they don't know what to do. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, yeah, they don't know how to read a menu. No, it's like, what do you have here? I'm like, why don't you open the menu I put in front of you? Take a look at it. So,
oh my God.
I have a lot of jokes, just simple stuff that people do.
Sharp little witty things. Yeah, people are so.
What do you do? What do you do when people snap at you or are rude? Do you?
Oh, like this?
You be cracker. Yeah.
Oh, I salsa danced the whole way over the table. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you snap at me? Like, I get so fired up when this happens.
I hate when people do that.
Like. This, I'm like, are you on fire? What? Are you choking? What's happening over here? What's with the SOS? Like, I need you to calm down for a second. I see you.
No, for real.
Oh, yeah.
When people tell me that somebody next to them is trying to order, I'm like, yo, this whole bar is busy. Like, hey, this person wants to order. And I'm like, be with you in a second. Go over there. What do you want? They'll turn back. What do you guys want? I'm like, yo, did y'all just interrupt me? Did you interrupt me for her to order? She didn't know what she want. And then y'all waited till I got here before you turned around and asked the group what they want. Y'all got to wait for a whole round again. I'm tripping.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst.
Like,
I
I'm
think
only going to
everyone
come over so many
should be
times.
required
And
to
if you're
be a
not ready,
server or something. Yeah.
The patience, for sure.
and I have jokes about
Because
it.
I think everyone in the world should be required to be a server or something, or a bartender or something at some point in their life, because it's amazing how many people don't understand. I was a server for 15 years too, like in high school and college, and it's insane how rude people can get.
One of the things is too that happens is people ask me, what else do I do when I'm at work? What else do you do? What else? Like, would you go into a dentist office and be like, oh, what else do you do? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. So why are you like, this woman's like a bottle of wine in Monday at 2 p.m. I'm like, what do you do, bitch? What do you do? Like, you're coming at me like,
Just drinking midday on a weekday.
because I want to do what you do. Honestly, like, it looks like fun, but like I'm at my job. Like, and you can make a good amount of money bartending, especially in New York City. So it's just so interesting. It's kind of like looked down upon still. And
I don't get it.
I don't get it. They're like, are you in school? But then I don't want to say I do stand up because then they're like, oh, are you funny? Are you funny? Tell me a joke. Tell me a joke. Are you funny?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, I love when they ask me, what else do I do? Oh, what else do I do?
Where should we
Listen, here,
start?
scan this code. Okay. Here, tap in. All right, I'm going to help you embrace your authenticity, embrace your story, find your balance. Okay. Implement the systems, help you repair your gut. Then I'm going to help you grow your mind with the podcast, take you to Costa Rica to transform your life. They're like, huh? What? What do you do? I'm like, I'm about to help you choose yourself. Damn it. What do you didn't just hear what I said? See, this is why I don't talk about it at the bar, because y'all can't even grasp on it. Yeah, I'll leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go ahead and get the book. It's available now. You wrote a book? I'm like, book. Yep, so
many things. So many things. What's the hardest part about finding your voice as a comedian in New York City? Like when you first moved there? Because I'm sure there's so many people trying to do the same thing. What did you do to make yourself stand out?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think it's just being consistent and showing up, and it's a numbers game because a lot of people stop doing it. So if you continue to do it, like a lot of people that have blown up now, I've worked with and just over the years, and they just keep doing it and they keep doing it. And that's really, I think, it. And also be nice. So simple. But just like any type of sales job, or if you work with people and they're like, oh my gosh, she was great to work with. Oh, we had a great time. They're not always going to book necessarily the funniest person, but they want to book the person they want to hang out with. So like if you're doing a road gig and you have to be in the car with someone, like I have a road gig tomorrow. I'm going to Wisecrackers in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania with my buddy Oscar Colazos. And so we're boys. So he's picking me up. It's going to be a great gig. And so, he was going to want to go with someone that he can like chill with in the car, talk shit for 2 hours, just like that kind of thing. So that's a big thing, I think, that keeps you in the game and keeps you going. I found that hosting and being like the MC of a show, they always paid the host. So that was something I got good at. Hey, if I'm going to be here, I want to get paid for it. Because sometimes a lot of spots will pay you in drink tickets when you first start. Takes a while to get going. Yeah. So you're like, thanks for the free drink ticket, whatever. So, but I started doing a lot of hosting, and a lot of people don't want to host or don't like to host. And so I got good at it and I got booked a lot to host. So that was something that I found that worked very well for me.
Y'all are good at it, for sure.
Thank you.
That was good, when I went to it. Yeah, no, it's shit, man. Repetition, y'all. Like
With
find
anything.
a time. You have to make, if you're not gonna, if for some reason you can't practice your purpose in your everyday activity, somehow you can't work on how to be good to people, how to be disciplined, how to manage your time, how to show up professionally. If somehow that's something you can't do, compartmentalize time to tap into your passion, whether you're YouTubing, reading, writing, researching, talking in the mirror. Find a way, 30 minutes. You're going to be, then if you can create 30 minutes to tap into your passion, then you start to overflow into your life. If you're already in the too conditioned of a mindset, too victim's mentality, where like, I go to work, I have to be this person. I can't infiltrate my passion because then I'll start to change and they'll start to judge me. I got to stay and still be this person. Otherwise, Johnny down the hall will think I'm being weird because I'm being too woke. Okay, well, fine. Then you keep that mask on. If you're like, oh, I got to be this type of parent at my child's game because I'm in this parents club and I can't start changing because they'll think I'm gonna. Okay, fine, keep that on. But then when you go home, Tap into your passion, story, gift, because then you automatically, subconsciously, internally change who you are because you're tapping into that, creating in a space of solitude and isolation. Then when you go into you don't have to think about it. It's just vibrating off of you. And then you start to change naturally. And then their opinions matter less because you value yourself more. And then people start to shed off your damn life easily. But it starts by what you do by yourself. That's what it means to choose yourself, to be chosen.
Yeah. Back to the consistency, I just wanted to say, like, consistency, and especially at the beginning, getting paid in drink tickets, and you're not making any money. You have to have a lot of passion behind that to keep going. And like you said, I'm sure a lot of people do give up because it's like, where the hell, how am I supposed to pay my bills, right? And I was just relating it back to myself in my head and posting content online and building social media platforms and like getting paid for what I do on the internet where I don't have to work a job. I'm from the people that I knew when I first started 7 years ago, I'm the only one that's still here, like doing what I do because of the consistency. And it's like, there's been a lot of up and downs, but it's like, I know this is what I want. So you just keep going and eventually you're going to get to the point that you want to get to as long as you don't give up. Because the only way you're going to fail is if you give up. That's the only failure in anything, I think. So I love that advice because for anyone listening, it's like, whatever you want to do, you just got to start it and keep going. That's it. Of course, you have other things you're going to do on the side, but it's just like, just don't stop. That's the only thing.
Practice how you play is a big one.
Practice how you play.
Too. So
Practice how you
even if
play.
there's practice how you play, even if there's 5 people at the show, give them a show. Don't like dick around, or excuse my language, but like go out there
Fuck it.
and do it. Like I see so many times people phone it in, and I'm like, don't phone it in. Like go do it, perform. Those people paid to be here. Who cares if there's 5 of them or whatever? Go give them a show. You might come up with some new jokes or try new jokes that you haven't done in a while, or dust some things off. But you have to be able to get something out of it every time. Like, it's always a new experience. And you're like, oh, that worked well. That's great. Like, instead of just phoning it in. I see that sometimes that people do that. And I'm like, okay, like, also have fun is very important. Like, if you're not having fun with what you're doing, then you kind of have to reevaluate what you're doing for your passion.
Fun and joy is the most important thing.
Or just being consistent, just showing up. Like we were talking about how many people are in Manhattan, and it's hard. Like you have to like motivate yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to like get those reps in, especially like when you first start doing it. I've gotten a little lazier with the open mics over the years. Plus I do post. I hosted an open mic for 5 years, 2 back-to-back on Tuesdays. And that was a great way to meet comics and network. And so that was fun.
Chuck, and you said, no matter if it's 5 people or 20
Mm-hmm.
people or 20,000, you got to put the work in, man. Like the events that I've done, I need solitude before I go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a book launch September 20th in New York. And my boy's like, hey, can I stay over? No, you can't. This ain't I'm locked in. I'm about to present my book, my story, my passion, my business. I don't need you sleeping over Friday in my way and going to the gym. You asking me questions. I got to feed you. No, it's not what we're doing. We can meet up after the event. And this is because once it starts to be 20,000, 50,000, 80,000, you're not about to be in my hotel when I'm doing a speech in Dubai. So I'm putting the systems in now, whether it's 5 or 50 people or 100 people, I'm doing the systems. I'm going over my material. I'm getting this repetition so that when the material becomes new, two things. When the material becomes new, I have the systems to implement new understanding. It's already, I'm in the flow. Whoop, learn something else, plug it in. Now, all of a sudden, my neuroplasticity and everything is in alignment. It's able to consume, embody, and generate a permanence, a mindset, because it's in that routine. But then also, once you embody that shit, you can go out there with no written script and really tap in and channel and speak from a place of conviction over just confidence. I know the answers. I've researched enough. No, I've lived it. I do it every day. And I continue to seek information, which keeps me humble. And I continue to apply and have conversation of the stuff I know, which keeps me sharp. So that cycle is practice, play, practice, play. You could practice and play at a gas station if you're the damn cashier. You could practice and then play as a fitness trainer. Putting those systems in place where it's like, in my solitude, I'm developing who I am. Now it's time for me to go wherever and present the version that's in best alignment with who I am. Instead of skipping your solitude, there's 5 people here, so I'm just going to half-ass it. Well, what you think, you're going to just snap into it when it's a 500-person show? You think it's just going to happen like that? You're going to fuck that up.
It's true. And it's the balance of it too. It's the, taking that time. That you hit upon a good topic when you're like, oh, your friend wants to come stay with you. It's hard when people like want to come stay with you and you're like, I've got a show. Like, this is a big show. Like, I did a headlining gig and my friends all came. It was really sweet. And so this was like a year plus ago. But then everyone was messaging me like questions about the show. And I was like, okay, they're like, is it going to be cold in there? Do I need a sweater? I was like, guys, I'm trying to focus here. I'm doing 45 minutes. Like, I need you to kind of just like, I don't know, Google it. Like little things that they were doing. And I was like, I can't be in charge of all this. Like, and then I ended up not being nervous because I had practiced so much. Like I was a little nervous, but then I was like, I got this. Like after a while, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, and that's, when you're like secondhand, I can do this. The new material and all the comics, like the Jim Gaffigans, the Chris Rocks, Jerry Seinfeld, like they all have to work on their material too. So they drop into the comedy clubs and work on their stuff. They just don't advertise that they're going to be there. So they have to do the same stuff too at whatever level. So there's never a there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you always have to continue working, climbing up the ladder to the next thing that you want to do.
That's life.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean they have to be in the comedy club practicing like these big names? Like, how does that work? I'm just curious side.
So I've been hosting some of these new talent nights at Gotham Comedy Club, and like Jerry Seinfeld will stop in. Jim Gaffigan's been there. Like I was there Monday. He stops in. And then like at the Comedy Cellar and different clubs around the city, they can't advertise that those comics are going to be there because why would you then pay a ticket to go see them on their own? So they're working out their new material for their tour.
So they perform? Like, okay.
So they drop in. It's called a drop in. So it's like, oh, I got bumped because Dave Chappelle dropped in or whatever. And they drop in and they'll give them as much time as they want, basically, I think. And then they'll work on all their new stuff. And sometimes it's great, but it's new material too. So sometimes it might not be great. So they're in the same boat. Like they have to work on their stuff somewhere too. It's interesting.
It's the same concept that we talk about with the retreat. You can practice in the mirror. You can watch all the film. You can look at all your awards all you want. But if you want to keep evolving, the people that got great got from that mindset. You have to get around new people. And you're not going to be able to bump nobody off a Kevin Hart show. You're not going to be able to just drop into freaking Target Center in Minneapolis. You got to go to the little back in the schmut, in the mud, remind you where you came from, remind you had to work for this, remind you the type of clubs that you've been a part of. And like in sports, you can't practice football by yourself. You can't tell comedy by yourself. You're going to be just sitting there laughing at yourself. You need people. So you got to have other people on a practice squad. And in this situation, it's these smaller clubs, and for speakers, it's the free engagements that you do at schools and you do this community, but you're sharpening your ability to speak. And I'm sure when you're developing art or design, you have to do it, these side projects, or you have to do, and I think Google actually does that. They're like 20% of your time has to be using art. You can use any of our materials and tools, but you have to build your own project because that boosts the effectiveness of the 80%. And then the productivity is higher than if they were to focus on Google for 100 because you're able to tap in to the 20%, whatever percentage of time it is. It might be 15, but it was a big chunk of their time where they force you to build something else, So that's another way, tapping into what you love before it's time for you to really put it on display comes in a lot of forms, man. Reading,
that's just
writing,
interesting. I never thought about like how comedians practice, I guess, when you're so up there. I'm like, okay, cool. Noted. So I just gotta be at a drop-in if I want to see Dave Chappelle or something. Just running around the city.
Yeah, it's cool. They do drop in a decent amount at at the Cellar. A lot. So like you're like, oh, so-and-so was here last night. Like the one night we were there just kind of hanging out and Jimmy Fallon was there just working on some material. Jimmy Fallon, I was like, oh, he's getting back into stand-up. Okay. And it's exciting, if you're in the audience and you're like, oh, we saw so-and-so just dropped in. Like, so it is neat. Now in this day and age, what you were talking about with posting like almost every day, it's a whole nother ball game out there. Like you just can't just be funny. Now you have to have the reels. You have to have the social media. You have to be a cinematographer. You have to be a stylist. Because now I'm like, ooh, what dress would look good on this reel? Like you have to think about all this stuff now that you didn't have to really think about before. And sometimes I'll be honest, it's overwhelming where you're like, I don't even know if this is funny. Is this funny? I got to post it. Like, but that's the game now.
It is the game. And I think speaking of that, you just have to, like when it comes to social media stuff, you just have to post, like don't pay attention to the vanity metrics. That's how you have to practice too. And over time, you're going to get the insights so you can understand what works but you can't post for like a week. And then you're like, oh, it's not working. You're like, oh, nobody even knows who you are yet. You have to give it some time so that people can actually see your face and then look at the analytics and be like, okay, this one popped off, this one didn't. So we're going to go in this direction. Like you have to have data to be able to understand what works and what doesn't over a time frame. You can't just give it a little bit of time and then decide it doesn't work because you didn't even try at all. Like, what the Man.
That's one way for sure. Definitely analytics. I could probably get better at that. I don't be giving a fuck. But
I mean,
if
you don't really have to.
yeah.
Either. Like you don't.
Well,
People love you regardless. So
Well, if you're building a business,
Yeah.
for sure, like definitely you got to know what people like about your product, for sure. Like who's buying the most of this shit? When are they buying it? But like transitioning comedy from online to in person, I've seen it different. I've seen people's online be funny, and then they'll show clips of them on stage. I'm like, yo, man, you are whack. How many times do you rehearse every reel?
Yeah, I think with skit people, like there's people who are really good at skits and formulating and planning out a skit, but then when it's like actually live, I don't know. I've heard that about Drewski and some other people that are like Instagram funny, but then they start to do stand up and it's like
Actors versus comedians.
Well, yeah.
That's true. And it's easy to do a 15-second reel. I mean, that's 15 seconds. Fill that with 40 more minutes and see how that feels.
Yeah, right. When you're getting booed and no one's laughing, you're like getting hot, starting to sweat.
What you got a dirty joke or a super like taboo joke, or like how do you, and one last question too, how do you stay in the boundaries with this cancel culture as well?
I think I'm that risky with the cancel culture. Like, I don't think there were some things I've said that maybe people get offended by, or they're like, oh, should I laugh at that? Like 10 years ago, they would laugh at it. But now with the way the different generations are, like, they're like, oh, I don't know if that's appropriate. Like, I'm not sure. And you're like, but it's true. So that's where you kind of like a little line, you gotta like, one of the jokes I had, I realized like with being single and online dating, you've got like your Hinge now, you've got, I remember Match.com. I dated a dude that he bought my couch off Craigslist. And so I called him Couch. Like we really wanted it to work. And it didn't, it was like met him off Craigslist, didn't work, but nice dude, nice guy. But like now you have like Field. And that's like I make a joke where I'm like couples that like get bored and want to bring a third in. Like, it's very interesting. Do you know what Field is?
No.
Yep.
It's a very like.
How do you know?
Shit, I was that third. I've had people ask me to fuck their wife. I'd be like, nah, not if you're in the room.
Yeah,
right.
Like it's very much very open, fluid type sexual stuff. And it's like, for me, I realized this, like I'm at the age where people are divorced and now they just want to go out because they've been in relationships for 15 years and they want to have a bunch of sex and do whatever. And I'm looking for like, I want to date seriously. So it's very interesting. So I've never been on Field, but I made a joke where it was like, oh, what's your kink? I was like, oh, my kink is I want my dude to have sex with me. That's it. Monogamy. Just me. Just like
that is a good joke though.
Thank you. Like that's like me being in my element, being authentic. I think there's a lot of people that kind of feel that way too. Like I'm like, I can't juggle that many people. I have a busy life. Like I know how you keep all the stories straight. Like so that was one that's like it's not that dirty, but I do have a risky one. Yeah, thank you. Like I have one that it's funny. I'll do it at the end of my set if I'm just doing a set and not hosting, but I have a crazy walk that I do. Like if I don't carry mace, because I carry mace most of the time, but like I'm like 5'8", and so like, and I'm kind of like thick, curvy, athletic. So I'll get big and walk crazy. Like I'm on an elliptical machine. I was like, you got to talk to yourself. I'm like, you can sing Taylor Swift, bark like a dog. Ruff, ruff. So like I'll bark on stage and cause it looks crazy. Cause I'm like, crazy doesn't fuck with crazy. Like you see me coming at you. Ruff, you're like, I'm not fucking with that. I'm out. Like I'm not touching that. So I talked about my crazy walk because it is scary to live in New York City and you're walking alone at night. Like you have
as
to
a
know
woman,
your
I would be so scared.
Like, yep, you gotta like, don't walk with the headphones in. Like, don't like women get scared. They kind of go like this, but you got to get big,
Right.
So I'm walking my crazy walk. I got behind a large man. This did happen actually. And I scared him. He like heard me coming because I have a strong gait. And he like turned around. He was like,
a strong gait.
And
from
like,
leaving
strong
your house.
walk. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My walk. Like it was like, I sounded like a man, basically. And he was like, oh my gosh. And I said, I'm so sorry. It's just me, which is a weird thing to say to someone you don't know. Like he didn't know me. I didn't know him. And he was like, and I was like, you need an escort home? Like I made a joke. And he was like, wow, now I know what it feels like to be a woman walking alone at night in the city. And I was like, well, kind of. And then I raped him. I was like, that's actually what it feels like to be a woman. Exactly. And so it's a joke. It's a joke, but it.
Oh, shit. Damn, now you're a woman, bitch.
But
How's
yeah. And yeah.
How's that feel? So
that is the fear that we have as women. You don't have that fear. Again, you're afraid you might get robbed, but
Yeah.
you're not afraid that someone's gonna do
Nope.
that to you on the street. Like, so
I'm
that
not.
was and some people tense up really bad at that, but I'm like,
That is good.
It's a joke, but it comes from a fear of like, and it's truthful that women feel that way.
I know exactly what type of women feel that way too, but I ain't gonna say nothing because of cancel culture.
Hilarious. Wow.
That is funny. That was a good one. I'm coming to
that
another
was
one of your
good.
shows, and I'm coming to get a drink at Tiger Sushi.
Blind Tiger craft
Blind
beer
Tiger.
bar. We specialize in craft
I
beer.
love craft beer.
So,
Where's that?
Oh,
I'm from Wisconsin. Hello.
yeah.
I'm gonna text you. I come in. I'm gonna stop in. But no, it's been real having you on. I appreciate you. You know, we had this planned, you know, and I felt your vibes on stage, and you know, the type of people that are in alignment with what we talk about here with story, authenticity, you know, being a rarity in the industry as a woman, white woman, comedic. Are you white? Or you got some? Everybody got something in them.
No, I mean, I'm half Italian, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm white. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to pass.
One thing I learned about New York, it's not white and black. They're like, what kind of black? What kind of white? Like, where are you from? I'm like, I love that about New York.
The best was I did a show and I was the only white person on the show, white woman, and everyone else was Latina. And so they brought me up as Teresa. And I was like, it's actually
Just Teresa.
I started talking, but I had my big curls in. And so it could have gone either way. But I was like, yes, it's just me, just Teresa right here.
That's me.
It's me. It's me. I love this. This was so great. Thank you so much. Why don't you? Where can people find you? What's your Instagram handle? So the bar that you work at, we know. But, do you have a website, or how can people like tap into your shows?
Tap in the shows on Instagram at Teresa DeGaetano. So it's TERESA DEGAETANO. I know it's a long one.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yes. And so that's where I post everything on Instagram. And then we also have our podcast that we post there too, Two Stand-Up Gals. And that is on. We got a very strong female following, but we like to mix it up there. And then I work at a bar called Blind Tiger. And so, but Instagram's probably the best. So slip into the DMs, people, if you like.
Follow.
I will respond.
Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Okay. Thank you so much. We will chat next time. And
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Choose yourself and strengthen your soul.